Hi everybody, welcome back to Jenkins Boat Works. I am Chuck Jenkins. In this episode we continue working on the Chesapeake 18, a CLC kayak, and we are getting very close to completion. We'll show how we get the coaming started and glued down, clamped into place. You can kind of see it back here. It's coming out really good. We're getting ready to put the second coat of epoxy on that. And then also we show how we go about cutting the holes in the boat to do the forward and after hatch. So anyway, we're glad you're here. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button, even if you're coming back. And anyway, this has been a whole series on this, and I did make a playlist on this kayak build. So I believe we got 8 or 9 episodes at this point. So check all the rest of that out if you like. There'll be a link at the end to go to the playlist or either episode 1. All right, let's jump in and see how we get the coaming and the hatches together. Okay, so we're starting to put the coaming on the Chesapeake 18. And the directions, well, first of all, you get these pieces in the kit that are already cut out, which is really nice. There's these two. There's 2 more just like this, and then there's the full circle that's not split. You can see how this is 2 separate pieces. The instructions say to secure these in the middles by driving little ring nails in there. And we had the little ring nails that we used here along the sides of the deck and the shear clamp. I tried that and they just wanted to bounce, and I bent over a couple of them and I thought, that's just not working. The other thing that I was really kind of concerned about is that this plywood is very thin, and being that we are right on the grain going this way, you can probably see it maybe a little better on that one. I was afraid of driving the nail in there and then splitting that end off of that thing. So, as you can see, I put screws in. I used my countersink bit and just put a little 3/4 inch bronze in here. And so I've got these temporarily sitting on here. Now I got to go mix up some thickened epoxy and put underneath these, under here, so that we can then clamp it down. Boy, that's a vicious bend to get it down there. There's a fear that you might just, I gotta be cool. I don't want to bust those off of there. It feels like it'll bend. So anyway, we're getting started, but it's a little tricky. Getting the coaming glued down on the Chesapeake 18. Took a lot of clamps. So we've got the coaming sanded and ready to put some epoxy on this, and it looks good. Really pleased with that. I used an orbital sander for most of it, but then I found in the tight spaces, especially in the tight little curves, the mouse sander seemed to work very good on that. So if you have that, it can work really good. Now we're moving on to the hatches. So this will be for the after hatch, and this is the hatch cover. And I made this up some time ago. I just had some extra time waiting for epoxy to dry or something, and all these pieces came in the kit. They were all cut out. It's pretty straightforward. The instructions are good, and so you glue these things in here, and they're curved, so you wind up with your hatch covers bent like that, which conforms to the curve of the deck here. So now what you do is you come about 8 inches back from the back part of the coaming, and then you find your center line, and in order to do that you just take a couple of measurements from side to side, figure out where the metal is, and then draw a line. They give you these part of the full-size pattern of what the hatch cutout is supposed to be. So you just cut these out of the plan paper, and it's got a center line on it, so you don't even need to fold it in half, which was my first thought. And you just take it, you lay it on there on your center line, and then draw around it. And then I just kind of stood back and looked at it, just to make sure that it looked like it was centered. And it does. It's that second rule of boat building. If it looks right, it probably is. Now, something else I thought about once I had that cut out, and they don't tell you this in the book or in the instructions, but it would have been kind of handy to have cut that thing out earlier, this dude, and then put it on here. It kind of centered it, because you don't want these deals sticking out to where the cover won't go down in there. So I took this thing and put it on here and just made sure that I didn't have any of them that were sticking out anywhere around the edges. So you can see it looks like I'm going to be fine. That paper, which represents the cutout of the hatch, completely covers all those frames. So that tells me that my hatch cover should fit down in the cutout just right. But this is definitely one of those deals where once you start cutting this out, if you goof this up, you're screwed. So anyway, that's the only other terrifying part of this is now I've got to drill a hole in there so that my saber saw blade will fit in, and cut a hole in the boat, which seems like the most unreasonable thing that you could possibly think of, at least when it comes to boat building. So anyway, we're going to do that though, cut that out, and then, and it's going to be somewhat forgiving because we've got hatch stiffeners to put in there and cover pieces, and we could fix a screw up if we had to. But third rule of boat building is don't screw it up. All right, more in a little bit. Want to watch me cut a hole in the boat? I'm only slightly nervous. It's going to be fine. I already drilled a hole in here, and I stayed inside the line. Well, let's do this. This is live. This isn't rehearsed. It's going great. I'm going to have to get an extension cord. It's going to be fine. I'll show you when we're done. Changed my mind. You can watch. Just like anything else, just go slow, take your time. If you don't feel like you're in a good position, change. And if your nerves kick in, stop for a second. I'm going to bring that ladder around here. Now Now see, that would make me left-handed, which I don't like. Let's scoot the boat back. That's one thing nice about having these slings. You can kind of put the boat wherever you want. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay. Halfway. Halfway. Okay. Hadn't seen inside here for a while. How about that? Okay, just because I like to see how I did, I've got my cover. Let's see if that fits in there. It's awesome. It's great. Cool. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.